To Reselling Rhythms. I'm your host, Adam, with Adam's Exploits. Today is Wednesday, the last day of July, July 31st. Typically, I go live at 3 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. Again, today I have a special guest. My guest was with me out in eBay Open the prior year and also this year. I just want to open up with a little bit of an apology, guys. You all kind of know my medical issues, and I told you I was going to try to get 5 or 6 different people on the show to interview. It was really difficult because everyone's kind of there to like the 10 seminars, to hang with their friends and vacation. So basically, I was able to get Casey, and I hung out a lot with Shane. So I was able to kind of get Shane to come along with us. Shane knew Casey, and Casey knew Shane. They just had never met in person before. Shane, Rising Right Picker. So basically, I introduced them, even though they knew each other. Technically, they had never met in person. So I introduced them, and then Shane kind of hung out with us, and he helped us when we did the filming in the Mandalay Bay lobby. You'll see that last film, the video that I filmed with Casey, and Shane helped us with it, and he participated a little bit. Again, I want to apologize for a few things, actually. Not having a lot of people do it. I had several people say they would do it for me, 5 to 6. Just things just didn't work out as far as time constraints, and people were going out at night. And I told you guys I don't drink anymore, so I think I was kind of like pushed aside because I'm not a party animal like the rest of them. So next year I'm planning on hanging with the people that don't drink and hanging out with them, and we can do our own gig. And I may even stay mid-strip. We'll get into that later, but that's another story about how you can save money. I said I would bring that up. I should have written it down, but one of my subscribers had asked about that, how you save money, and I've done videos prior to that, but I'm going to discuss that a little bit as well. So my friend Barry, Thrifty Santa, said he was willing to come on the show, and like I said, things just didn't work out. I mean, we did our own kind of separate thing. So Barry contacted me, said, "Look, I feel bad I wasn't able to do your show. I would love to do it." So I said, "That's super, Barry. I really appreciate you reaching out to me." So we have Santa's helper, Barry the Thrifty Santa. So let me bring Barry over here. And again, we're going to discuss basically eBay Open 2019, our thoughts on some of the changes and improvements we're going to make, and just our overall impression of the whole eBay convention. Welcome, Mr. Barry, Thrifty Santa.
Hey, there, Mr. Adam. How are you?
I'm great.
Well, thank you for having me on. And I'm Barry B, the Thrifty Santa, and I've been on eBay since 2011, probably taking it serious the past couple years. Prior to that, I worked in the electronics industry, and then in the last 10 years, I've worked in the sanitation recycling business. I was an account manager for a company called Republic Services, and I took about 3 months off at the end of my career there to take care of my mom till she passed away. She had cancer. So, and then when I went back, I stayed there for about another 4 weeks, and we parted ways, which was a good thing. I was pretty miserable there, hung in way longer than I should have, way longer. So I've been doing eBay and haven't looked back since. Met a lot of great people. Adam's one of them, and like he said, we got to hang out in at eBay Open last year, and then this year time slipped away. I was having way too much fun, and I guess my roommate was Shane, the Rise and Grind Picker, if you guys know him. Him and Scott, the Bearded Picker. Me and Shane were roomies, and I'm 52 and he's 32, and I'm about 6'3". And I was trying to keep pace with him. And if you want to be reminded about how old you are and out of shape and overweight, try to keep up with a 32-year-old going 100 miles an hour.
Keep pace with Casey.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
How about both of them? It was Casey and Jane.
No way.
Down the hallways, that I'm like trying to keep up with them. It's like sweat's pouring off of me. It's, I got to keep up. I got to do this interview.
Yeah.
He literally grabbed Casey because Casey's the rock star. Everybody knows Casey.
Oh yeah, he's
I'll give you guys a little behind the scenes thing. So Casey and I had discussed definitely going to do it. So of course Casey's super popular, and he's he's hanging with his fiance and his friends, and his fiance's friend came along. So they're doing their thing at night, and I'm kind of like doing my thing during the day because I can't hang with the young dogs at night. So I was pretty much doing my things pretty much during the day or early evening. So finally, the next to the last day, I'm thinking like, if I don't get Casey now, I'm never going to get him because tomorrow's a free day, and who knows what he's going to be doing. And I at least want to do a little bit myself, get around and do some things. And I had a ticket to a show, the Beatles show. I'll get into that later. Excuse me. So anyway, the convention was getting ready to wind down, and they did like the closing ceremonies. They announced the Shine Award winners, which are the people that you nominate. Basically, you nominate yourself, and then the eBay sellers vote on you, and whoever they pick, that's the winner. Then last year, I think they just had the one winner. And this year they had 4 or 5. I didn't attend that. That was another story. But I think they had 4 or 5 winners, and everybody got 10,000. And then the top 2 got higher prizes. So Casey told me, I'm going to go attend that, but I'm not going to stay for the whole thing. I said, great. I said, well, I'll hang out here at the exhibition center where they have all the different vendors. And I figured we'll just hang out there and rest up a little bit. And then when he comes out, we can get together and we go film the video. Well, 20 minutes goes by, a half an hour goes by, 40 minutes goes by. All of a sudden, I hear a marching band. I'm thinking, what the heck is that? Here was the drum corps from the University of Las Vegas, Nevada. So what happened was right prior to that, they got all the eBay employees together, and they were doing like a cheer and getting them all like pumped up and everything. So when they opened up the doors of the convention center, the people all came out, and then they had this drum corps playing, and they're going, back and forth with the drums, and it's like, holy cow! And there's massive people come out. So it's like, how the heck am I going to find Casey now? So it's like, oh, geez. So I finally track him down. And of course, everybody wants to talk to Casey, and he wanted to talk to somebody from eBay. So he asked me basically to make sure I kept track of that person so he didn't lose them. So then I brought that person over to Casey, talked to her, and then I saw Shane. I introduced Shane to Casey. Oh, we lost you, Barry? I think we lost Barry temporarily. That's an issue with the Streamlab. I guess occasionally you lose the signal when it's internet-based. It's cloud-based. So we lost Barry, but I'm assuming he'll be back shortly. If not, I'll send him the link again. So anyway, I did get a hold of Casey, and we eventually got together, and I said, okay, we got to get out of here. So I literally put my big paw hand on Casey's shoulder, says, we got to go. So then we went. And we filmed it. Oh, he's back, I think. Let me add him. There you are, sir. So anyway, Shane and Casey, that's all right. Shane and Casey were power walking down the aisle from the convention center to the hotel, and I'm trying to keep up like Barry was saying. So we finally decided we're going to film it in the hotel lobby. And Casey wanted to film with that pretty backdrop. If you haven't seen the video, guys, down below later. It's a very good video, except the light quality isn't great because I had videos before on my channel where I talked about YouTube, and I said always have the light source in front of you. Well, the light source was behind me, and I was using my iPhone, which actually takes pretty good videos. I'm not happy with the pictures it takes, but it actually does pretty good video. The sound quality isn't very good, but I spent $150 because I told you guys I'm really into this YouTube. I'm trying to really make it the best I can do, and I spent $150 on a specific microphone just for the iPhone. It literally plugs into the lightning port on the iPhone. And then it's a Shure brand, which is like they make commercial grade microphones. So the sound was really good, but the video quality of the lighting wasn't very good. So again, I want to apologize for that, but it's a really good interview. Casey did a nice job. Shane spoke with us and gave us some input. And I also filmed out from in front of the hotel. I did a little video, if you missed that, in front of Mandalay Bay. And then my friend Derek, NASCAR Man 3345, wanted me to go to a toy store that he's friendly with the owner, who's collects, he sells toys, but Derek collects like G.I. Joes and Hot Wheels and Matchbox and all that stuff. So he wanted me to go, so I filmed it there. So I did get a few videos, but I only really had the one interview. So again, Barry was kind enough to say, look, things got out of control. We were doing things, we went our separate ways. I'd really like to do your show, so I appreciate him for coming on. Let me just ask you a few just minor questions about, I listened to what you said as far as your introduction. I know you are down south. Are you North Carolina?
North Carolina, yes. Mm-hmm.
North Carolina. Now, are you a lifelong resident of North Carolina?
Yes, sir. Yep.
You are.
Lived here all my life.
Well, I know you had an accent, but I can never spot those the southern accents.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Did you?
Actually, I don't know if she's in chat or not, but I got to meet a lady, Jennifer, from South Carolina, and she has an even stronger accent than me. She makes me sound like a Harvard professor compared to her accent. Oh yeah, and she had a little fun with it because I mean, within 15 seconds of her talking to somebody new, they would always ask where she's from, and she would say New York. And that was really, yeah. And they're like, you could just see the wheels turning in her head. Like,
right. I'm thinking my brain is like, oh yeah, Jennifer. I was saying, well, that's right. Yeah, we had breakfast one morning.
She's very sweet. She does a lot of retail arbitrage and
cool.
sell. And come to find out, she had actually been to my hometown doing retail arbitrage, looking for things at a local drugstore that I worked at when I was a kid. So I told her, no more. Stay out of my area.
Out of my territory.
and I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but I am a real bearded Santa Claus. So
yeah, I wanted you to mention that. I want you. I mean, I should ask you this prior. Do you have your little cards where you show your get on the you have that handy, or you don't? If you don't have it handy, it's not a big deal.
I do not. I'm sorry, I do not.
I have it in my wallet. I don't believe I do. I think I just threw it in my bag, so I don't have it. But anyway, Barry has these really neat cards. And what's the exact phrase says?
It's one free get off the naughty list.
One free get off the naughty list. So it basically has his name, his contact information, and his YouTube channel. And it's on the back. He says, I wanted to put something on the back of the card. So he put one free get off the naughty list. So it's really catchy. Barry was saying that people really enjoy it and they get a kick out of it and they remember him from it. I mean, like anything, guys, it's networking, it's marketing, and that was a great idea that Barry came up with. Now, did you go to college? Did you always work the regular 9 to 5 job? You said you worked in electronics.
Yeah. I went to college for electronic engineering technology. So I have an associate's degree in that, and I've repaired like when people back in the days when late 80s, early 90s, when people had the big 10-foot dishes in their yard, and I repaired the satellite receivers and descramblers. Did that for many years as tech support for that. I repaired alarm control panels. It was a company that manufactured for the keypads and the equipment.
Was it a Demco? Was it or Napa?
No, it was
Napco. I actually was in that business for a short period of time.
Oh, really?
Napco and a Demco, yeah.
Moose Products.
Moose was another brand, yeah.
And then they changed to Central Products, and they made the panels for ADDT. They made a lot of those.
Sure.
Motion detectors. So I did that. And went to work for as a technician for a cell phone company, Sprint, as a tech for them.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
Then I joined the JCs back in the days, the Junior Chamber of Commerce, and got real involved in that and doing a lot of nonprofit stuff. And I actually was changing careers, and I had an offer on the table from Duke Energy Power Company to be a technician for them, and passed that up to go work as a director for the March of Dimes.
Oh, really? I wasn't aware of that. You didn't see the things that come out. I wasn't aware you did the March of Dimes.
Yep, did the March of Dimes. And it meant a lot to me because March of Dimes got their beginning by finding the vaccine for polio. And my mom was a polio victim. So that meant a lot to me. And now their mission is, finding birth defects. So I covered 10 counties and, did the Walk America and a lot of fundraising. And, if you'd have told me before that, hey, Barry, we want you to stand up in front of 10,000 people and make them cry and go raise money, I would have told you were crazy. And, nowadays I'm like, okay, just point me in the direction. I'll talk to them,
How long did you do that?
I did that for about 5 years, and that was the hardest job. That was the hardest job I ever loved. It was pretty, I mean, I could never rob a bank because everybody knows me. I kind of stand out, I guess. So, but yeah, the Santa Claus thing. This will be my 3rd year doing that, and I really enjoy that. I'm one of the I've been one of the 4 Santa Clauses at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. They
Cool.
during Christmas time they do the whole racetrack. They have Christmas lights and scenery, and you turn your radio to a certain radio station, and the music is synchronized with the lights and stuff. And then you stop halfway through, and there's a Christmas village with a live nativity scene and Santa Claus and food vendors and stuff. And
that's cool.
It's fun. And I've done malls. I'm 52 and I'm young for a guy that plays Santa. A lot of these guys are in their 70s or early 80s. And the first year I started doing this, there's companies like one's called Cherry Hill that does that they just book and handle mall Santa Clauses.
Okay, I was trying to ask you about that. Do you have like an agency, or you're like a free agent? You actually use an agency to book those?
A friend of mine, he taught me into doing it, called Classic Claus, and he has his own local Santa business agent booking. And but cool. these other bigger companies found out about me, and I traveled from one end of the state to the other my first year when in my free time, being a substitute Santa Claus, because a lot of these guys would get sick or
their 70s and their 80s, sure, and it's that time of year with colds and whatnot.
Oh yeah, so I did like what's Bass Pro Shops. I filled in there.
Okay.
Lots of malls, corporate parties. So there's some good money in it, really.
Yeah,
Adam, you need to grow your beard out. We'll hook you
up. So, okay, getting back to reselling. Now, how did you get involved in reselling? Did you have parents or an uncle or an aunt that was kind of into thrift stores, or how did you get involved in all this reselling?
Well, I grew up, my dad drugged me to every flea market you could find when I was a kid, which I didn't care about it back then. But I really, honestly, I'm not sure how or why I started reselling. I mean, I can remember the very first thing I sold was a coffee mug. Okay. And it had these little owls all over it. And I sold it for $25. And
$25 for a coffee mug with owls on it.
Yeah. Some expensive collectible, whatever. And and then it grew from there. The very first Goodwill bins that I walked into, the very first time I went to a Goodwill bins, the very first time I bought a pocketbook that had an 18-inch gold necklace in it.
Oh,
and I was hooked for sure. So,
wow, that doesn't happen often. People are excited when they find $5 in a wallet.
Oh yeah, I found actually. I think I posted it on my Instagram. There was a Marlboro yellow raincoat that was actually in my throwaway or donate pile. And I happened to go through the pockets before I got rid of it, and it had a $20 bill in the pocket. So you never know what you're going to find.
Yeah, well, there's your pro tip number 1: check pockets, check handbags, check everything.
Oh yeah.
Right. Cool.
So
you used to drag around the flea market, so that was kind of like in your blood, so to speak.
Oh yeah. So
now, do you have any? Do you do like all one-offs? Do you specialize mostly in electronics because that's your background, and what do you specialize in?
I started with clothes mostly.
Right, what most people do.
And I like clothes for the fact that it's easy to store. You can fold it down to a certain size. Or most things, not now bulky coats and things you can't, but clothing I can fold and put it in a container that's uniform and make it space saving. I've gravitated, but it's a pain in the butt to do all the measurements and
measurements, pictures, things don't fit. People claim it's item not as described. The color's not the same because everybody has different monitors and cell phones. And I believe me, I've been saying for months I want to get out of clothing. Mostly. I mean, I'll have some. But, my clothing is like maybe.
I've gravitated toward more hard goods now, and it's all one-offs. I really, I'm sourcing probably 99% at yard sales right now,
Right, because you
Yeah,
have the other weather. You have it probably 7 months out of the year. You have nice warm weather.
yeah,
Any
and
bad weather, like November through March.
yeah, January, February, yeah, probably November through March, and then of course mid-November through December, I'm
You're
kind of
busy
busy
again.
anyway,
Yeah, true
so
that.
that keeps me busy.
Sure,
Uh,
sure.
but hard goods are kind of a beast of their own as far as the shipping and storing it and putting it up. So right now, my house, you can see all the junk behind me. I like to pick up the little animatronic dancing Santa Clauses.
Right, James. His closet was asking about that. Yeah,
I got a big one right here behind me, big
right,
stand up Santa Claus,
right.
and then over here,
You have the Christmas tree. You have the little Santa, and you have the elf from the what's his name was again? The elf.
yeah, Cy from
Hi, the misfit elf. That was the
no,
dentist.
it's Uncle Cy from the Duck Hunter show.
Oh, okay.
Well, I can't remember. Somebody might put it in the chat. I can't remember what it is. So,
Duck
but
Dynasty.
yeah, Duck Dynasty. Yeah,
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah. So he's dressed up. And I got a bunch
Okay.
more. So, but yeah, eBay Open. Let's talk about eBay Open.
Yeah, let's get into that. Absolutely. I have some. I had a document up. Actually, I'll pull it up, and basically, it opened up with Devin Weinig, and I unfortunately called him Devin Wang in my first interview with Casey. I was a little nervous, even though I've known Casey for over 3 years now. So yeah, he did the opening. He spoke about 6 different key points or key categories. The first one he spoke about was seller protection. And again, I'll read my notes, Barry, and then I'll ask you your input if you any opinion you have of what I read or any input you want to have. Then we'll kind of wrap it up, towards the end as far as what happened. As far as seller protection, Devin said they're going to make it easier to report abusive buyers, and apparently that's already been instituted. Casey, when he did my interview with me, said I believe that over 500,000 buyers have been reported as being abusive one way or the other, whether they're filing false itemized disclaim claims or they're threatening, using feedback, extortion, et cetera, et cetera. Suppose it's going to be easier to report problems and easier with case resolution. They're going to also have some kind of program. Again, I wasn't 100% certain about this, but somehow they're going to reimburse us for problems with delivery. I know in the past, typically, we used to complain that the sellers got very little protection, the buyers got all the protection. So whenever there was an issue and somebody asked for a refund, they would refund the buyer and basically just say, sorry, seller, that's the cost of doing business. Occasionally, and once in a blue moon, they would reimburse the seller and the buyer. Well, supposedly now they're going to be reimbursing the seller a lot more than they used to. At least that's their claim. And then they state that whatever this means, they said financial protection against abuse, which would be fraud and fake itemized described claims. So apparently, like Casey was talking when I interviewed him, there's going to be like, one strike, be a warning. I guess a partial, maybe just a warning. I think the second strike is some kind of suspension. And I think the third or fourth strike is basically you're off the platform. So I guess that's always a good thing, right, Bar?
Oh yeah. The big impression I got was that it was more seller oriented protection.
Correct. Sure. Yeah, because we used to always complain with eBay. It's like 99.9% of the time eBay sides with the buyer, no matter what evidence you have.
Right. Hey, Adam, I wanted to mention I've got chat pulled up on my phone.
Okay.
And because my computer is so slow, I can't get YouTube on my computer at the same time as we're doing this live stream. But I did want to say hi to Gina.
Yeah, when you shout out, I usually shout out people, and we got right into it.
That's all right. I
was a little worried because I know you said you had bad weather, and I've had bad weather, so I got a little worried about because one of my last live streams, actually, I had my power went out a couple of times as I was doing my live stream, and And I literally got knocked off the feed.
Oh no! Well, I was afraid here because it was thundering right before we went
Right.
live.
So I mean, I usually say hello. I usually wait and say hello to everybody, but I got right into it this time. So yeah, say hello to Gina and whomever else you want to say hello to.
Yeah,
Joe.
yeah, and I see Darlene and I see Judgment Care USA. Yeah, Cherry Hill is the company, and they're all across the United States that does the booking in a lot of the malls for Santas. And then Jameson's Closet. Yeah, I do collect mostly like the animatronic Santas. You know, kind of like the ones the dancing Santa Clauses. I got a bunch more of those, and you know, my goal is to start doing some shows, live streams like Adam's doing some more YouTube, and I want to have like a bookcase behind me, and you know, kind of have some themed shows. I've got a bunch of toy robots for one show, and you know, the dancing Santa Clauses and different, you know, different backgrounds and stuff that I want to do. So yeah, definitely. As I was going to see, I'm going to scroll down here. So Treasured Vintage and
My friend Angie, amazing Angie.
Dad's Vintage Garage. No, I'm not a lifetime Boy Scout, so I try to be though. You know, try to be a good guy. So
that's John. Is Dad's Vintage Garage. We have, of course, we have Borderline Hoarder, which was just Kimmy.
Yeah, Kimmy.
Yeah, we have Anita Finita, who's Anita. We have Jennifer Hayes, who's Jennifer. Oh yeah, you got to give you got to give Kimmy the heart.
How to do the heart here? You know, the bad heart.
Give Kimmy the heart. We have Kathy. You all know Kathy with a C.
So let's see here.
Thanks for joining us, guys. I apologize. I got right into it this time. I was kind of like, I was worried about the weather. I got right into it. So, and I saw that the notice went out on time, so got right into it. So, where were we? We were talking about the first one was the solid protection we talked about. The next category he spoke about were data tools. That's just kind of like more to me. It's a kind of a catch-all thing. I had mentioned, if you'd seen my interview with Casey Paris, Rockstar Flipper, that TerraPeak, which was a research tool used to find about previous items that were sold on the platform, typically on eBay, is available to supposedly all store holders. Yeah. Now, originally it was basic and above, but Devin, the CEO, said all store holders. Subscribers. So I'm assuming that it means all. All means all. So again, TerraPeak is a tool to research. Casey actually did like a 10-minute video. So again, Rockstar Flipper, if you want to learn a little bit about TerraPeak, I'm not really very skilled at it. I want to learn about it, so that's why basically I'm mentioning, letting you guys know it's kind of like eBay sold on steroids. And I mentioned before to you guys that there's Sellhound as well. That Casey recommends and I've recommended, and I've spoken to the CEO and Casey has, and he said people want from Sellhound. Again, that's another good tool to use to look for sold items.
Hey, Adam, I want to shout out Wade. We have a celebrity in the house. We have Wade's Ventures in here. So we're not worthy.
Thanks for joining us, Wade. Again, so that's a great thing, and my understanding is that was about a $40 per month item. That's at least when I spoke with.
Great bonus benefit, and I guess it, like, if you search in eBay in solds, it only goes back the past 90 days, where TerraPeak will give you a snapshot for an entire year.
Correct. I think they want to extend it to 18 months. They were saying.
Was it 18? I've never used TerraPeak, so
I think it's a year now, and they want to extend it to 18 months. It was my impression. I did attend the TerraPeak seminar, but I was a few minutes late.
Yeah.
So that's a nice feature. Again, that if you had to purchase that separately, it was roughly $40. At least that's what Shane and Casey said, $40 per month.
Yes.
Another game changer may not affect everybody, but they're going to allow multi-user account access. Okay, so there used to be third-party apps where you would pay to use their services, and you could have like a virtual lister, or like say you would take your clothing, you would source things, and then you would take them in bins or whatever to your lister, and that person might take pictures. They might produce the listing, and then you would receive the stuff back, and then you would double check everything and list it. So apparently you can go anywhere from just taking pictures, uploading listings and pictures, all the way up to the very top level. I guess probably just short of having your PayPal information or your new managed payment information. So I think Casey said there's 8 different levels that are available. So again, when I said it probably wouldn't apply to me, Casey said, and then I thought about it for a minute. I said, well, it may apply if you have a small apartment. You get things out of there. It helps you to source. Basically, you can go out and continue to source. It's back in the day. I know you said you knew Jason, Prof Sales, and Karin. They always talked about value of time. So if you want to be outsourcing and you want to give the mundane things. I mean, not everybody, but most people hate listing and taking pictures. So you can source that out again, and then those people have access, and you can limit their access, to certain levels. So again, that's something that would be available to everyone, as long as you have a store.
Right.
So I guess you figured out that would be a valuable thing. Maybe not apply to you, but if you want to ramp it up, so to speak.
Yeah, I guess it has its pros and cons. A lot of people think that it's going to replace, like third-party services like InkFrog. So it could end up saving you money if that was your purpose for having InkFrog, to have security, to have somebody a lister for you, but you didn't want them to have access to corrupt your account. So now this is probably going to take a big bite out of InkFrog's.
I would think so, yeah.
And other third-party services. So we'll have to wait and see. So.
The other thing that I think probably everyone's going to use, and I just actually tried to use it today, and I believe we were misinformed. We were told that there's a whiteout tool that's going to be added to the eBay picture app. It was supposed to be available on desktop and on iOS or Apple devices. I tried it on my iPhone. It was not available. I tried to use it on my desktop. It wasn't available. Basically what that is you just color out the area behind your item, and then you press whatever tools you do, and then it will completely white out everything around the border that you built. So the third-party apps that actually do that, Shanahan mentioned the one he uses. Off the top of my head, I forget. Brad, do you recall which app he said he used? Or have you used those before in the past?
Oh, like PhotoFuse?
PhotoFuse, yes. PhotoFuse.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one most people use. But apparently that's going to be built into the eBay ecosystem. You're going to be able to use it on a desktop, and then also on the Apple devices, and eventually on the Android devices. But again, I tried it today and it wasn't available.
I think you had to sign up.
Is that what it was?
Program, and I think
they have like a beta program.
Yeah, beta. Their beta program.
Maybe they actually recruited you and sent out emails, because it's not available to me at this point. But it's supposed to be available to everybody who has the store.
I don't have. I'm Android, so I don't. It's not benefiting me right now. But I think you had to go. They had a specific booth at eBay Open that you had to go to sign up to get.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see that. I just the way they were talking, like everybody's going to have it eventually, and so.
Right.
Okay. So okay,
that's like the whole multi-user account. That was announced last year at eBay Open, and they're just now. It took them a year to finally fulfill that promise. So I did talk to some people that did speak to some of the engineers that were working on that app, and they could not or would not give an answer as to when it would be fully up and running. So I wouldn't cancel my PhotoFuse subscription right away.
Yeah, right.
Hey, it
is. Well, like Casey and I were joking that some of the things they announced last year were not available till like a week or 2 weeks or a month prior to this year's eBay Open. So that was one of the things, and I think most people will probably eventually use that. So if you take and then my problem is with pictures, especially with clothes, it's so time consuming. So I guess if you could do it in app as opposed to doing, a third party app, it would make things a little bit easier. Maybe speed up your time a little bit.
Yeah.
The other thing that I like, and it doesn't apply to everybody, is a new addition, is the ability to scan labels of your packages when you drop them off at your post office or they're picked up by your mail carriers. Now, certain people have issues with their local post office or their individual mail carriers where they don't scan their labels in when they receive them. I've gone into post office where it's just stacks and stacks and stacks of boxes on the counter. I know I've spoken with Barry. He says he waits for a receipt. I wait for a receipt. But again, he and I are not huge volume sellers. I guess if you're paying somebody to do that, you're paying them, $8, $9, $10 an hour. It's one thing to have them stand in line. But if you're a big time reseller and you want to be outsourcing, you don't want to have to stand in line for 20 minutes or a half an hour to get a receipt. So apparently you're going to be able to scan with the app your labels before you drop them off at the post office or, before the mail carrier picks them up, and then you can upload that information. So it's basically just like if you were to drop it off at the post office. So I think that's a good plus. I guess what your opinion on that, Barry? You think that's only can be positive, right?
Oh yeah. I didn't quite understand. I mean, because I buy my postage through eBay, so I'm assuming that.
But you have handling time. If you have a 1 day or same business day, you have to meet their time constraints. Whatever you set up, typically you can set that up in your settings, but the default is eBay's time. I think is 12 midnight Pacific time is the default.
Right, but I don't think they will recognize if you. I think they will only recognize when the post office actually scans it.
Don't believe that, because why would they do this then? Why would they have this? If at least that's my impression. What I'll do is, I'll make a note and I'll follow up. I'll follow up with the concierge service and ask them about that if they even know. Because to my opinion, that they said that's what the advantage of it was. So let me reach out to them and see if I can get an answer for you guys. The scanning the labels. Okay. All right. And so that was that.
Speaking of concierge service, once again this year, everybody that attended eBay Open gets a year of concierge service, which if you don't know what that is, they recognize through caller ID when you call into customer service at eBay that you don't have to wait in line for 20 or 30 minutes. Your call's answered within 30 seconds to 2 minutes at the most, and you're talking to an extremely pleasant, and I'm assuming U.S. based English, very English speaking rep that is very, very, very knowledgeable. And if they can't answer your question, they will go above and beyond and even call you back with a follow up. Have you had a chance to use it much?
Not much. Again, I have used it again. So, I'm going to take advantage of it for this because I did want to know, and I'm going to write down, a half dozen questions. So I figure why I have them on the phone, whether they've been updated or not, I don't know. But like Barry alluded to, is basically it's a separate division of customer service that handles the concierge. So you're not going into the main, customer service bank. So sometimes it's kind of like you roll the dice. I mean, you might get somebody that knows what they're doing. You might get somebody that's cooperative with sellers. You might get somebody that's pro buyers. I mean, the old funny thing with eBay was, if you got a problem with a return, you call and it doesn't work. You call again. You call again. Call again. You get the person that's going to help you, to your satisfaction. So at least with concierge, you're supposed to get somebody that's very experienced, and they are U.S. based, and that typically they're very knowledgeable.
Yeah. So again, as a matter of fact, the last time I called eBay and got the concierge, she put me on hold to try to find an answer to my question. And when she came back, she said, "Oh, by the way, I was looking at one of your listings, and it was some kind of Pokemon plush. And I don't know a whole lot about Pokemon, and I had put the wrong character name for that item, and she actually changed it for me and put the correct name of the character in there for me, so it would sell quicker." Which I was pretty impressed.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah, you wouldn't get that from the regular eBay customer service.
Yeah,
at least I would assume you wouldn't.
Yeah. So I'm
okay.
Your chat. There's some questions.
Yeah, check for questions, then we'll roll into the next category.
Yeah. There, Newfound Pasta's in here. Hey, buddy. I say, and then Judgment Care USA. Are sellers still waiting long time for eBay service? Do not have concierge service, but lately I get through in 2 to 3 minutes or less, which that's good.
That is very good.
Yeah. Newfound Pass said the last time he called, the rep knew less than he did, but luckily they realized that pretty quick. So,
Okay,
well,
I guess that's a good thing.
Knowledgeable there, Newfound Pass. I mean, geez. So, and then let's see, self-scanning kiosk at the last. Oh, okay. Apparently, Michelle Lathan asked, "Didn't USPS promise self-scanning kiosk at the last eBay Open?" I don't know, but that would be nice.
That would be nice. Yeah, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah,
I hear they have it at some facilities. I mean, I forget who I was that was using that. It might even been Chris, Liquidation OH. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
Okay. And the next category that Devin announced, again, this is to me is more of a catch-all thing. They called it product. So again, there's several things in this category. If you guys remember on the app, there's a camera now. You can scan barcodes, but you can also take a picture of something. And supposedly the computer searches. I forget what they call that in robot language, but it does a search from the picture, and it's supposed to identify. So if you see something that you like in the store or something, and you can take a picture of it, and you try to see if it's available on eBay, it's supposed to do the search that way.
Right.
What they said was currently they are doing 6 million of those picture searches a month, which that's incredible because they just started like mid-year, I believe, last year. So 6 million camera searches per year as of last year.
Yeah.
Searches per month. I'm sorry, 6 million searches per month last year. Another thing they're going to be doing is subscription-based buying, similar to Amazon. Let's say you order a particular dog food and you order it on whatever period of time you order it on, monthly, every 6 weeks, whatever you order it on, you can set up a subscription like you would for Amazon. I was telling Barry, I had ordered some snacks, the little snack packs for my trip to Vegas, because again, we all know how crazier prices are on the airport and the airport areas and the airlines and the convenience, whatever. I mean, everywhere in Vegas is expensive, pretty much. So I bought that with me, and I had forgot to cancel the subscription. So Amazon had sent me a notice. I went to cancel it, and here they had already shipped it, so it arrived today. So anyway, so they're going to have subscription-based service. I forget what they call it on eBay, the marketplace or whatever they call it. On Amazon. But you just subscribe to something. If you subscribe to one thing, you get 5% discount. If you subscribe to like 5, you get a 15% discount, and then they'll ship it out at whatever interval you request.
Right.
So eBay is going to be doing something similar to that. Their name is going to be called Buy It Again. That's the name of their program.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Very, very similar to Amazon. So
Amazon subscription-based service, right? Another thing they're going to do, again, very similar to what Amazon does, is eBay managed delivery, which I equate that to Amazon FBA, or fulfilled by Amazon. Most of you guys are, intermediate to advanced sellers, so you know what FBA is. Basically, what it is you purchase something, you put it in the computer system. Amazon tells you where to ship it, what warehouse or whatever. You package it up. Amazon has a discounted shipping rate. You package it up. You stick your label on the package or your poly bag or whatever. You ship it off to Amazon, and then you're pretty much done with it, unless for whatever reason you have to recall it if it's not selling or whatever. But Amazon handles they locate it in a location in the warehouse. They pick your orders, they deliver it, and they handle your customer service. Yeah. So eBay is getting involved in that. They're in the process of getting warehouses, setting up, the various vendors. And again, they didn't really give us the date as to when that's going to be available. But again, they're going to call it eBay Managed Delivery. And again, that's a complete fulfillment service. So again, Casey had asked me when I had him on my channel, he says, well, would you use something like that? I said, well, more than likely, no, because I'm a smaller reseller. He goes, well, you got to consider, space is an issue. So if you live in a row house or an apartment or a small condo, you don't have space, you can source your items, upload them to eBay, package them up, ship it off to them, and then they basically handle the storage for you, and they handle the shipping and the customer service. So you can concentrate more on sourcing, and you don't. And again, there's time with shipping involved as well. So you're saving time on shipping, and you're saving the area as far as storage. I mean, I got stuff all over my house. That's partly my fault. I have to get organized, but I mean, boxes and product and cash piles all over my house. So again, I think I asked you, Barry. You said you probably wouldn't use something like that, but I think it'll work out well for some sellers.
Yeah, it's going to be more for people who have new stuff that's replenishable. One-off items is not going to benefit anybody like me that has mostly just one-off, unique, used items. Or it would be somebody that found a ton of whatever makeup that's new in the pack that that could be replenishable.
Right.
So.
Okay. And they're saying that typically delivery will be in 2 to 3 days. So pretty much similar to what Amazon is doing.
Wow.
One thing that they brought up under this product category, which I was not aware of, that 10 out of every 15 packages delivered by the United States Postal Service are eBay packages.
Right.
So what Devin was saying, the CEO was he's excited to see when they start implementing this eBay managed delivery, was all these boxes are going to have eBay logos on the boxes and eBay tape, and they're going to be sitting on porches and steps throughout the country with eBay, basically eBay advertisements on them. So I thought that would be good. I thought that was a great idea. I mean, as far as that, that's additional revenue as far as that they're putting into advertising and promotion. It's a roundabout way, but it is promotion. So I think that'll benefit eBay sellers. Again, the next category was payments. Basically, we had talked about managed payments. You could opt in, but if you opt in into the managed payments, you couldn't get out. You couldn't go back to PayPal. This time next year, everyone will be in managed payments. Basically, eBay had owned PayPal. They sold it, and when they decided to do their own thing, they signed a contract, and it was like there's certain percentages, like 4% and 6% or whatever percentages, and they escalate. So this time next year, basically, that contract will expire with PayPal, and then everyone will be in the managed payment system. You won't be able. You can use PayPal as a payment, but you won't be able to use PayPal to process your payment. You'll have to use the eBay's managed payment system. Supposedly, it's a small savings. If you're a real high volume seller, you can save a decent amount. But for the smaller sellers, it is a small savings. But again, come this time next year, everyone will have to be in that managed payment system. So I don't know. I'm not asking your thoughts, Barry. It is what it is, right? You got to do it.
Yeah,
You got to join it. It's their ball court. It's their ball. If you want to play, you got to play by their rules, right?
Yeah, they're going to do what they're going to do. So it's their sandbox. We just play in it. So.
Exactly.
But it's the same way with Amazon or any other platform. Sure. I mean, you can jump up and down about it all you want to, but at the end of the day, it's their platform. If you don't like it, you can leave it, or you adapt. That's
exactly.
What we do.
Like I've said often on the show, I learned in college, one of my professor's favorite sayings was, the only thing that is permanent is change, which is true. And if you don't adapt, you're going to be left out. So it's like Barry said, it's their sandbox, or I say it's their basketball court, whatever. If you want to play, you got to play by their rules. Yeah. Number 6 was promoted listings. Approximately 1 million sellers are using promoted listing now to promote over 1/4 billion items on the eBay platform. The news is eBay is going to institute another program where they're going to get money from you. The promotion is rolling out sometime this year. They didn't give us the date, but basically what it is, it's premium listing placement. Again, it's not pay per click. Like, again, I don't really do Amazon, but you can advertise your item, and if somebody clicks on your item, you pay for that click that takes you to your item. With eBay, you're paying for placement of your item in their search engine. So regardless of whether your item sells or not, you're still paying a fee to have your item higher up in the search ranking. Again, they didn't discuss what the fees are going to be, but again, that's something you pay regardless of whether the item sells or not. So again, that's in addition to promote a listing. So it's another way for eBay to charge to sell them more fees. I guess it's to be determined whether that'll be beneficial or not. But again, there's more fees involved than that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they're gonna get more money out of us one way or the other. I don't.
Yeah.
Do you do promoted listings? I don't.
I do a little bit, and I do the minimum typically like a 2%. And everyone I talk to, like Casey and all, they say you really should do it. Like I don't do global shipping program, and I really should because basically, unless you get an INAD, eBay guarantees delivery.
Right.
So, and again, suppose they're going to guarantee delivery somehow with domestic shipping. I don't know how or what they're going to do, but with the global shipping program, you just have to get it safely to Kentucky, and then eBay guarantees delivery to the customer. If it's stolen by a porch pirate or it's damaged in transit, eBay reimburses the buyer, and then you keep your sale. So we shall see. But again, I should probably do that because, especially say with American, I don't find a lot of classic or vintage type clothing here. But apparently in other countries, people really like American vintage clothing. So that things will sell to Australia and Germany and Japan and all over the world. American vintage clothing. Like concert T-shirts and that type of thing. So it's worth a shot. So that was basically it, guys. I'm just going to discuss a few things. So we're trying to keep this under an hour. We're right about 55 minutes now. Let me just open it up to the chat a little bit. I'll discuss a few of my tips and tricks for Vegas, and I may just actually do like a little mini show on that as well. But I did promise that I would talk about that a little bit. But I wanted to open up to any questions that you guys may have for Barry or myself, and then I'll just give you guys a few of the tips and tricks that I learned. I've probably been to Vegas 25 times over the years, mainly 15, 20 years ago. I've only been twice in the last 12 years. So prior to that, I was probably there, 20 times. So were there any questions in the chat, guys, moderators? Did we miss anything? Miss Kimberly, Michelle, anyone? Barry, were you watching the chat at all when I was talking?
Yeah, I was able to get it to come up. Newfound Pass that he participates in GSP. So I've had it turned on for a long time, but I've never really. I can't remember the last time I had anything that really sold. What few things did attract interest, it was usually people from Canada that were wanting me to lie about the value of the product, or that may have been
that's an issue.
Yeah, so no, I don't get a whole lot GSP, but maybe what I'm selling isn't have that much interest from worldwide, I guess. So, but yeah, Thrifting Adventures. Yeah, I tried promoted listings for about 2 seconds, and it didn't impress me. I think if I had, if I were selling a ton of blue jeans and it's a very competitive item, promoted listings might help. Again, mine is such unique one-offs that there's not very many listings anyway on it. So I don't see the advantage of giving somebody else more money to do it. So I was trying to think. There was some other stuff that was announced at eBay Open that I was thinking that we had skipped over. That we got a big, huge book that had all the.
Yeah, I may have missed. Basically, I went over what Devin had said and what Casey and I discussed, and I watched a couple of other videos. I may have missed something. Let me just address something. And Angie had a question. Apparently, Michelle says, "Does WorthPoint have everything over Terapeak now?" WorthPoint is more for collectible items. I'm not 100% familiar with WorthPoint. My understanding is WorthPoint is pretty pricey. but people do the workaround. I'm not going to tell you how to do the workaround because technically the workaround is not legal. But it's kind of like people use Netflix. That's kind of the workaround that people use with WorthPoint. So I think WorthPoint is a more collectible type platform, possibly better in certain categories, more robust. Again, but it's relatively pricey. And again, unless you're a high volume seller, it's probably not worthwhile to subscribe to it unless you become part of a group, which technically is not legal, if you know what I mean. So that's where that is.
There's supposed to have been some major upgrades to the Seller Hub. I didn't
Right, yeah, I was not familiar. And they're also upgrading the. I had written it down and I forgot to mention it. The checkoff box and the descriptions are adding a lot more detailed descriptions, and you have to check it off, and that will be related to the Google search. If you put it just like in your title or whatnot, technically it won't weigh it strong enough to be pulled up in search. But if you check off those various checkoff boxes in your description, that's supposed to help with your Google search rankings. WorthPoint said easy to find sold prices that you won't find on eBay. Yeah, I think Terapeak is more geared specifically to eBay, and I think you said like WorthPoint is the other platforms. Again, Sellhound has a lot, but it's basically just clothing on Sellhound. Has a lot of the other sites, Poshmark and Macquarie, et cetera, et cetera. But right now, Sellhound is basically just set up for clothing. You're cheap, so you use Terapeak. It's free of the store subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even like I said, I mean, that's what I'm going to call. I'm going to call to double check with the concierge service. But if that's included with a starter store, that's a $40 value right there. I mean, not that a starter store would probably use Terapeak, but hey, it's free. It's free. You know.
Oh yeah.
WorthPoint.
And all of the seminars, workshops at eBay Open are videotaped. So at some point they'll be released. So even if you didn't attend, you can still watch those. I'm sure that they're still editing and compiling those videos because, one subject, there were multiple classes, repeats during the workshops, for the same subject. So at the end of each workshop, there were answering question sessions. So I'm sure they have to go back and kind of compile and add all the pertinent information on a lot of.
Yeah, they'll have to edit that and merge them a little bit and see what the video and audio quality and. There were some that were released that kind of annoyed me that I paid the 10. They were released early. So I don't know where these people found them, but they found Devon's speech, which I don't know how they did it, but they did it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, typically it takes them about a month to 2 months before they release them.
Yeah. Yeah. So eBay Open, highly recommend it. If you have the means, save up. And the three, if you get in early, this year it was $350. I don't know how much it'll be this next year, but the networking is incredible. Meeting all these people that we've watched on YouTube and out there, and then just being able to spend time with people that go through the same thing that we go through day in and day out, and the common struggles and victories that we have. There's tidbits of information that you would never get anywhere else. There are the workshops. You can get some tidbits of information or some answers, specific answers that you've been wanting to ask. The workshops can be a little bit basic because they have to kind of encompass it and make it for everybody, but they're still good. But the golden nugget of eBay Open is the networking. Hey, Pat Dees, Pat Dees is in the house, and
hey,
storage.
Pat.
So
you say hi to me too, Pat. It's my channel. I'm just
kidding. What?
He said hi, Skinny, and say hi, Adam.
So it's worth it. It's worth the money and the time to go, and it's a tax write-off. You get to play a little bit, have a little bit of fun. They usually include lots of snacks, and they include breakfast and lunch. There's a lot of freebies and giveaways. T-shirt, like my eBay Open T-shirt. Everybody gets a T-shirt. The party, the final party, is always a lot of fun. This year they had it at the House of Blues, and they had full buffet, all kinds of food in that. The final party, there was different multiple levels within the House of Blues. There was a dance floor with nothing but 70s music. There was a dance floor with 90s music, and then you went down in the basement part, and there was a huge concert stage with bars and food. There's free booze and free drink. The downstairs was an 80s.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see the 80s band?
Oh no, I didn't stay for the band. I know. I left there after about an hour.
Oh man, that's where everybody. That's why everybody was hoarse the next morning, because it was just one of those concerts that you just sung at the top of your lungs, with every song from growing up, and that's why everybody lost their voice. If you go back and watch the first video when Rise and Grind, Shane got back. He did a quick video, and he could barely speak above a whispers.
I'll show you guys, and I think I have my light box off to the side, so you should be able to see the soft box. This is, you guys that know Harlan. I know Pat knows Harlan.
Yeah,
that's his police officer outfit. Still getting a glare on that. I don't know why.
Yeah,
but that's Harlan. And here's Casey, the Rockstar flipper, showing some leg. So that's when I was there. I like I said, I didn't stay very long. And I had some video of it. And this was kind of cool. This was, let me just play a little bit of this for you guys real fast. I think I turned this actually. There you go. Oh. That's the masses leaving the closing ceremony.
Yeah.
And then they had sparkling. I'm not going to call it champagne, sparkling wine, but that's the drum corps from the University of Las Vegas, Nevada. So that's pretty cool. Everybody's out there filming it.
Oh yeah, big fanfare.
Yep.
They had they were pushing like a eBay Visa card this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they had like a big surprise spinny wheel. Yeah, on your name tag each day you had a chance to go spin the wheel and could win a hat or a gift card and all that stuff. So Thrift Shop Hustler, I see in the chat. Yeah, I do kind of look like Santa. I play a real Santa during Christmas time. So thank you. And shout out to Anita Fanita. Yesterday was her birthday, and mine was too. Both of us are Leos, and our birthdays are on July the 30th. So happy belated birthday, Anita Fanita. So.
Okay, Barry, do you have any last words you'd like to leave us with? Do you have possibly any kind of tips or tricks or any last words you want to leave us with as far as reselling?
Nah, just
or even life hacks.
Life hacks. If you buy it, list it. I think Wade he did a little clip with me about asking me to do a tip, and that was just don't let your death piles or money piles overtake your house like I have mine. So daily I live in fear of the TV show Hoarders calling me instead of doing an episode. They could do a whole season on me. So,
yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead, Barry.
Judgment Card. He did just upgraded my something from 4G to 10G. Made my his memory. From 4G to 10G. So I am looking at at a new laptop. This one's probably, well, I don't even know how old this
I think you
thing
said
is.
at this point it's so old you probably should just get a new one, right? Because the adding RAM
Yeah,
to a 5 or
but
6 year old laptop probably wouldn't make much of a difference.
yeah. So I'm looking at buying one where I can do some video editing and streaming, and
Yeah, if you're going to
it's
do
just
streaming, you're going to want a decent video card and decent amount of RAM.
yeah.
I'll just leave you guys with a few Vegas tips. Again, I'm probably going to do a more complete video or maybe a little part of my live stream in the near future. One of the things you want to do is buy as little as possible at the hotel, the motel that you're staying at. The casinos just overcharge you for everything. You're paying a
Yeah.
resort fee, right? You're paying it's almost $40 per day. Again, so basically that's just internet, and if they have a pool, access to the pool. That's it. You don't get water, you don't get coffee, you don't get anything. Like with my coffee, I told you guys before, they had the little coffee pods, like the Keurig pods. It used to be $5 for one, and they gave you like creamer and sugar, whatever. Now you have to buy two, so it's $10 for 2 cups of coffee that you make in your room. Adam bought a 6-pack of coffee pods with him. I bought another dozen on Fremont Street when he was there. So I didn't pay them for coffee. A bottle of Fiji water in your room is $12. $12. A bottle of, I think, soda was like $8 or $9. What I do is across the street, you always got to know where like the convenience stores are, where the drugstores are, the CVS and Walgreens. They're kind of set apart. There could be like a mile or so from your hotel, so it's a bit of a walk. Know where the fast food stores are. I went across the street to McDonald's one day, had lunch. I had one day I was at mid strip when I was picking up my tickets for, and I'll mention that real quickly when we want to wrap this up. I was at the Mirage. So across the street from the Mirage is like kind of like a kind of a local casino that's in the middle of the strip called Casino Royale. So they have, I think it's a Pizza Hut there. They have a hot dog place, and they have a Subway. So, and they have like $3 beers at the bar, which I told you guys, don't drink anymore. But that's really reasonable for a beer. So if you want a beer, so I figured if the sodas, what is soda going to be? $3 for a soda? So I went over there and I saw the Subway. I said, well, how much could a fountain soda at Subway cost? So it was almost $5, but that was like the big 42-ounce soda. So you're allowed one free refill. So basically, I got, it was ice in it. Obviously, it wasn't 82 ounces of soda. It was probably, 50 ounces of soda, a liter and a half for $6. It would have cost me over $6 for like a little cup of soda at the bar at across the street, the Mirage. So you do that. You do McDonald's. One night I did that same day I did McDonald's. I got my senior discount, so I got my little medium size cup of soda. So I guess there was like $1.50 or something, and I got a refill. So I mean, that's one way to beat it. So the bus is $8. The strip bus. Once for 24 hours, the strip bus, $8. Okay, you buy it for 3 days, it's $20. Now, granted, you have locals on that bus. You have people that are working in the area. You have some not so desirable people on that bus, like any public bus you would drive on. But it beats taking a cab or Uber or Lyft. And I'll leave you one last thing: try to use Uber or Lyft as opposed to cabs. Cabs are extremely expensive in Las Vegas. I think it's one of the most expensive cities in the world to rent a cab. So I will leave that with you guys. Again, my typical, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Again, I'm kind of flat with my subscribers. I really hustled and busted my rear end to get to that 1,000 level, and now I'm kind of leveling out. So, and also look forward. I will post it when it happens. I did an interview with Steve Rake Profit. I don't know when Steve's going to post that, but that will be up on Steve's channel. Steve actually joined me one night. We went to Hell's Kitchen, Gordon Ramsay's restaurant. I invited Steve to dinner, and Steve was gracious enough to join us. So I'll post some pictures of that, so you guys will see that. Again, I want to thank Barry, Thrifty Santa, for joining me. Again, guys, if you have any questions for Barry, his information is down below. His channel, like he said, he's going to start doing some more content. So I have his YouTube channel and also his Instagram account listed below on the information center. So again, guys, thanks for joining us. See you next time.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Adam.